All right, now we're up to the 8th technique in Owaza Ju Pon, which is Kote Gaeshi. This is a Kote Gaeshi just like the rest of the kata, with the centers of gravity separating as the throw concludes. So we're going to begin this Kote Gaeshi with a back step. My foot is dropping back and I'm to the outside with both hands here. Your mirror hand is leading, the other hand is following down. We'll do it end on so you can see the feet as he's coming forward, taking a step back into this corner. My hands are just going to float lightly right here on his wrist. As he falls and begins to rise, I float up with him, and the hands just float lightly into place, and the outside hand becomes a pushing function. As he takes his step to go into drop, I start to move away and tractor into the long pulling action or separation, and you get a throwing form that looks, something like this. There's very little action at his wrist causing a bunch of torque to make this happen. So even though this is Kote Gaeshi and you see this configuration, he can tell you he doesn't feel a lot of pressure at his wrist trying to twist him down or torque him this way. Basically what's happening is the centers are separating, and as he's going into his next foot cycle, my body's moving away. And you could actually do this without engaging his wrist at all. So the form of this could take place just like this, where you'd step back, and I'm now on his forearm with two hands. I withdraw, move around the circle, the throw goes anyway. And so we've taken his wrist entirely out of it. The throw makes the activity happen from the centers of gravity moving apart. And that's just to illustrate that when we make this technique go, we're not getting locked into the idea of twisting him over at his wrist. There's many, many, many forms of Kote Gaeshi in the world where the guy gets his wrist violently reversed, and that becomes the focal point of the person's training. But really, that's not the throwing action here. The throwing action, center of gravity, moving away, boom, boom. The fact that you're connected at the wrist in this turning fashion is incidental to the activity that actually throws him. It's the drawing of the centers, the moving away. Many, many other forms of Kote Gaeshi have a form of stepping with him or forward or into him as you make the throw go. And that's a completely different principle. It's a good principle. It looks more like this. You push and then push. Not a bad way to throw Kote Gaeshi, but it's a different form of Kote Gaeshi than what we're looking for. The key elements, moving away from the man, rising, moving away from the man. Kote Gaeshi goes almost effortlessly this way, and that's a good hallmark for letting yourself know, oh, did I do any strong thing at the wrist or the hands? No. About all that changes here is just at the very end, right as he's moving. You may want to make a little grip here, but even that might not be necessary. So maybe a slight grip, but generally speaking, even just holding passively in that rotation and that body separation, you'll have a very nice Kote Gaeshi function, and you'll have a beautiful ukemi. Thank you.